Well, good afternoon, people. How we doing today? So, I just got done listening to this album twice, and it's not the best in the world. It's the ninth album from Uriah Heep from 1976. It's called High and Mighty. And first of all, what were they going for an angel sign? What the hell is this? The flying gun? I mean, did James Bond go to the Q Labs? Yes, 007. This is your new flying PPK. What were they thinking with this artwork? I had to double check. I thought that Hypnosis, or more particularly Storm Thurgerson, had picked this. No, it says Shirt Sleeve Studios on this. By the way, this is an original from '76 on Warner Records, not the UK bronze edition, but it does have the inner sleeve with the lyrics separate from the Warner sleeve. 98% of the songs, of course, music and lyrics were written just by multi-instrumentalist Ken Hensley. I don't have my glasses on. Why am I doing this? It's strange because I got this album a number of years ago, and I never played it. I'm one of those people who I pick it up. I'm a completist, and then I put it on the shelf, and I'll get to it later. I'll watch that Criterion movie, and I won't put it up until I read the book, and then next thing I know, because I didn't watch all the commentary tracks or the special features, and then read the little essay. Now it's collecting space on my shelf as a to-do list, and it's making me insane. Curse of the Collector, See You Tranquility. Trust me, it's real. Um, this is the second and last album with John Wetton, the amazing bassist and vocalist, and songwriter at that. For those of you who, if you don't listen to 72 to 74 King Crimson yet, okay, we'll get into that later because I got a couple of old box sets I bought. You surely know him as Mr. Heat of the Moment from Asia for a very long time. He's not with us, and honestly, I don't think, except for Mick Box on lead guitar and 12-string acoustic, there's nobody left of this band other than Mick running it today during the farewell tour. I'll get to that later. My thing is, John, and to their credit, especially Ken's, he let John sing on some more tracks on this, either lead or shared with David Byron. This would be David Byron's last album, too. He'd been with the band since 67, 68, when they had a different name. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head right now. But the two tracks he lets Wetton co-write, that Hensley co-write with him, is Weep in Silence. Hell of a ballad, I'll give it that. And then on side two is Footprints in the Snow. The best song on this album, honestly, is side one's opener, One Way or Another. And Wetton takes lead vocals on that, beautifully delivers them. And I enjoyed the main ballad, which is Weep in Silence. Again, I mentioned it earlier, just before, because that's when Byron comes in on lead, but they keep Wetton on the harmony vocals for the choruses, and it's fantastic. Midnight, good song. Side two opens with a track called Can't Keep a Good Band Down. Au contraire, that this damn thing, this will keep a good band down. And okay, and then I'll give another one. Confession, nice little ballad and sing along to close it out. But I played this twice through, and no, this is not the best thing in the world. I know there was, going back and reading through time, that the predecessor Return to Fantasy did mildly well, especially was that the lead title cut was a hit single. And I love Gamma Ray. They did a really nice cover of that too. Much later. My thing is, they're clearly, as Yes would put it a year later, going for the one. They need another hit album. It's been a couple of years because Wonderwall, Could have been better, but it stalled on the charts. Return to Fantasy did okay, but half that album, I don't even own that album. Half that album I could do without. And that's when John came in. And we know history has shown us that David Byron was not doing well here. He unfortunately wouldn't be much longer for this world, unfortunately. But I can admit from my own experiences, alcohol is a hell of a demon. And you know, in Byron's case, yes. It just kills me because do you look at Ken Hensley, and I'm looking at the credits here. Man is playing organ, piano, synthesizer, tubular bells, electric piano, guitar, slide guitar, acoustic guitar, electric 12-string, pedal steel, and backing vocals, of course. This man can write hit songs. He'd been writing 95% of all the material from the first album up until this point, and he would actually do that again for the next 4 albums. He left after 1980 with Conquest, if I recall the title. That album's god awful. What the hell? They're trying so hard to go for pop hits. You got to stay on the label. I completely understand that. If you don't stay on the charts, as Billy Joel put it, the entertainer, you're done. You'll be up in the $2 bin or the cutout bin, and that's the end of it. And you're off the label. Yet there's so much wasted potential here going for all the AM radio hits at this FM had started, but they're trying so hard to keep up with at this point in time. What the hell? Something just popped up on my computer. At the 76, you've got that New York band in kabuki makeup taking over the world. Rush putting out 2112. These proto, I don't want to say early prog, whatever. These multi-genre, multi-instrumental bands, rock bands, especially Deep Purple, Mark IV was coming to an end just as his album came out. The ill-fated Come Taste the Band album and tour with Tommy Bolin, which is now being reevaluated, thankfully, because that's a really solid album, people. There's so much going on that this feels... I don't know what the time is with the YouTube overlords on this. Maybe I should just start doing this. What the hell? They're trying to keep up. Oh, and Bob Seger came out. The first Boston album dropped. Bob had done Live Bullet, and was taking off himself finally after 10 years. There's so much shifting in the pop world, let alone, Pink Floyd not leaving the charts, having a death grip on everything, that it's too much of a stretch. It's, I want to say sellout, but it borders on that. And it could have been better. Maybe they could have put more guitar solos, maybe a little bit of a crunch to it. Instead, it's just streamlined piano, ballads, no stomp your foot type of material except for the first song. So it is what it is. I don't like, shitting on an album. It's just, I put this up, thankfully I got it for $7. It's almost mint. 2021. Wow. I've had this album 5 years and never listened to it. That's bad. But again, you know what I'm saying. You expect Lee Kerslake on here as well. Rest in peace. He not too much after Ken passed away. You expect better from a lineup this strong that was pretty untouchable from 70 to 73. But now they pushed too hard. The parameters of success changed at that point, and they were just, grasping at straws, as Martin Popoff himself put it one time. I think he also called it effeminate and illogical. I would disagree that this is not, this is not an illogical album. It's just, you got to pay the bills, got to make money. It is what it is. So I'm going to get off my high horse and stop pontificating on this. I will say this: if you want damn good Uriah Heep, besides the years I just said, look at Abominog, and that second album with Pete Colby is pretty good too. I love the 3 albums they did with John Lawson, from 77 to 79. Those are spectacular. So, and honestly, Lucifer's Friend is spectacular. It's a separate conversation. But since the 3rd album or 4th album with Bernie Shaw, Awaken the Sleeper in 97, every Heep album since the mid-90s is pretty much an essential must-own. It should be in your collection if you're a fan. And shame on me, I still don't own any of them. I came into the later on, and I would see them at FYE and stuff like that. But a lot of those Heep albums, the newer Heep albums, they're just, I don't know if it's just bad distribution or they're frontiers and they make so much it sells out and then you're on the resale market again. But Uriah Heep is one of those bands that deserve a lot more love and attention. Congratulations to Mick Rock for being the sole founding member left, keeping it on his shoulders since 82. And, I want to see the farewell tour. I hope it comes by St. Louis at some point here in the future. I just found out the other day that Ken Hensley actually used to have a house over in St. Louis for more than a decade. It blew my mind. I never would have thought that. But okay, I said I was going to pontificate, and I did anyways. Thanks a lot. I'm going to be back in a little bit with another video. And for those wondering, yes, I'm nearsighted. I don't need the damn glasses that are all crooked and all that. So, again, be back in a second. See you in hell, my friends.